tuning in to the online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Hello and welcome to AFTERBUZZ TV. I'm your host, JJ Snyder, and welcome to this very special spotlight on actress Amy Hoggart. Amy, welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Did you notice the song we're playing?
So regal. I love it.
In your honor.
It's one of my favorites.
Isn't it? Rule Britannia.
Perfect.
Well, thank you very much. So, Amy, you are an actress, writer, and stand-up comic.
Yes.
In that order.
Yeah, definitely. Like joint, the two first ones joint, and then the third one not really at all, but slightly. That'd be the order.
The stand-up comic, you just...
I used to do it a bit in character, but I can do it again, but I haven't for a while.
Yes, so I think we look at you as really like an improv actress.
Okay, cool.
Or a character actress, very much in the vein of like a Saturday Night Live or a Mad TV here in the States.
Yeah.
So you play these fabulous characters.
Thank you.
Yes. One of which we're here to talk about today, which is, her name is Poppy Carlton.
Yes, exactly.
And she is the star of a BBC America show that is now in its second season called Almost Royal. Tell us about your show.
Okay, well, it's about two members of the British royal family. Every episode they have to change where we are in line to the throne for legal reasons, so we'll be 50-something or 125th. And we're brother and sister. We're played by two comics. We're comics playing, but the Americans in the show think that we are aristocracy. And then we sort of travel around America and do fun things. And in this season, we're exploring different aspects of American culture, like sport and romance and the great outdoors. And yeah, we just meet all sorts of cool people and do fun things.
It is a very, very funny premise.
Oh, yeah, thanks.
I think it's funny, too, that you mentioned that Americans, we don't really know whether you're royalty, because I think that's pretty valid. If you went up to someone in the U.S. and said, I really am in line to the throne, we probably wouldn't know the difference. So
I mean, even with a British person, if you were to say, I am 79th in line to the throne, they're not probably going to know the exact, family tree of the Windsors to say that that's not true. So I don't know.
That's hilarious. And I love that you're doing some very, very American things on the show.
Yeah.
Among them, you were in a beauty pageant.
Yeah.
Yes,
I was.
And you went to a dude ranch.
Went to a dude ranch. Yeah, you name it. If it's kind of associated with America in a sort of stereotypical way, we've probably done it.
Yes, fantastic. And I think it's really interesting what you choose. Oh, we have some photos actually to show from the show. And this is you in the beauty pageant.
Yeah, really going for it smile-wise.
I loved this episode because it's such an interesting cultural phenomenon, and I guess it made me think: is it really perceived as something that's very American?
Yeah,
a beauty
for sure.
pageant?
Yeah, definitely.
Yes,
I don't think there's another country that I know of that's quite so into it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was really fun. That is the only pageant in the country that didn't have a swimwear part of it, because I was like, I don't really want to be on TV in a bikini and a pair of heels.
You could have edited it out, but you're like, no.
No, it's just like, I mean, it's just not really my career aspiration. I don't judge it, but it's just not for me. So that's why we then spend like 5 weeks in Florida.
It is really odd, isn't it, that we make women, like, we have this thing where we have women put on a bikini and be judged for who's prettier. It's so bizarre.
I'm not, I mean, you can just do what you want. It's just not for me.
Yes, it's just not for me. That was very Poppy.
I mean, I think in some ways there's a fine line. I like to think that I'm not as mean or stupid as her, but you never know. I mean, I could be. Yeah, bad day.
Excellent. Oh, and something that a term you used to describe the show was a faux reality show.
Okay,
which is kind of fun. It's like an oxymoron, but
it doesn't
makes
make
sense.
a huge amount of sense. But I mean, it says nothing in a way. It's
and
or
everything.
mockumentary is another way.
Mockumentary.
They always think it's a reality show or a documentary, and then we're just lying.
Well, it almost could be real because you and your co-star Ed take it so seriously.
Yeah.
And so we have another photo of you. This is your co-star Ed Gamble, and you two actually co-write the project, correct?
Right. Yeah. There's a team of 4 of us. So it's me and Ed, and then our 2 writers, Sam Martin and Tom Neenan. And Sam comes away with us and writes with us when we're away. But it's so every scene we go into, we have a loose script. It's not. There's no narrative, and it's just kind of jokes that we can do if we can. But we mainly improvise it. Yeah.
Yes. I'm kind of fascinated too by just the character.
Okay.
And I mean, to me, watching it as an American, you and Ed, or shall I say, Poppy.
Yeah.
You carry yourselves so. You're so reserved and yet like really honest at the same time. But what are some of the qualities that you feel that you went after to play royalty? Like what does royalty act like?
Well, I'm not huge friends with any members of the royal family.
What?
So yeah, really odd.
What?
I think they have my number, but they're not getting in touch. Something like that.
Well, that might change.
Yeah, maybe.
Yes.
I don't know. I know people from that sort of social sphere, and I was trying to do someone who's quite superior. I think that's a big generalization. I'm not saying that all people from those social circles are really superior, but I wanted to do that kind of character, and I wanted to make her kind of snobbish and mean, and but there is a real kind of vulnerability to her because she's so self-deluded, and she just thinks she's the center of the world, and
she really
absolutely
does,
brilliant.
yes.
And she's invariably wrong and invariably embarrassing herself and just has no idea. So I actually think people can kind of relate to her in a way, because everyone worries that. I think people secretly worry that they're like, I don't know, actually,
yes.
maybe no one relates to her, and I'm
well,
myself.
And that fits perfectly into being into a reality show.
Yeah,
actually,
yeah.
doesn't it? I know. I think it's okay to talk freely about it because obviously you're taking it to the height of comedy. So you're exaggerating the character.
Yeah.
And one thing I find with both your characters I think is really funny is that because, as you say, like, someone asked you, how did you make your money? And you said, well, we already had it.
Yeah.
Or, you already have everything that you could ever possibly want.
Yeah.
So you're just kind of like mildly excited about everything, never too excited.
There's boredom there. Yeah.
Is that what it is?
There's just like nothing really to do. They just exist. We sometimes, because when we're writing for it, we really try and get their background down and their daily routines, what they do when they're at their country manor in Norfolk in England, and we never know what they do. Like, my character naps a lot and relaxes, and Georgie goes hunting every now and then. That's the brother in it, but yeah, they just kind of don't really
That's
do
right.
anything.
What do you do when you don't have to do anything?
Right,
yes.
exactly.
But it is honorable that they're on a mission here in the United States to get out and meet people, and it's very funny. So the show currently is showing at 11 p.m. on Monday on BBC America.
Yeah.
And it is available online as well.
I think so, yeah.
Yes, I streamed full episodes online.
There we go.
So let's talk a little bit about Amy, though.
Okay,
The
yeah.
gal behind Poppy. So tell me about where you grew up and a little bit about your upbringing.
Okay, I'm not a member of the royal family, so that's just me being a great actress.
Get out.
Yeah, it's a shocker. I was actually born in America, in Washington, D.C., and lived there till I was 4, I think, and then moved to England. But my family are English, and so I've just been... Yeah.
And now, was that because of your father's work?
Right, so my dad was a journalist, and he was the Washington correspondent for a British newspaper. My mother is a psychologist, but it's one of those jobs where the qualifications don't translate overseas, so she just had kids because she didn't really have anything on. And I think someone told me there's a word for it when you move to America and have kids and then move back. There's like when you do it for a passport.
Yes.
I don't think that's what she's doing, but
interesting.
Maybe, it's helpful for me.
Wow. So all this
kind of
talent that
accusatory.
your mother had maybe got focused on you, which could be like a big window into your psychology.
We'll never
what
know.
do you think?
Yeah, so that's it's been good. I mean, my brother might get rid of his passport. He's a lawyer, and it's just quite an expensive thing to upkeep. So it's not necessarily.
Are you a dual citizen?
Yeah,
then?
so I've got
Okay.
British and American, and you
neat.
save probably 10 minutes total when you travel to and from. So there are slight benefits. You have to wait in line as long, but. Yeah,
That's
it,
so
really.
neat. It's actually very unique too that you would be in this position of having a TV show that takes place really in England and the US.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah, and
it's
actually,
in your background.
Well, when the part came up, I said to my agent, "Will you really push me for this? Because first of all, I'm friends with Ed already, so I know we can work together. And secondly, I have a passport, so they don't need to pay for a visa.
Yes.
And I'm absolutely convinced that's what got me the job, because it's really hard to get visas. Yeah.
There's a budget in television, people.
Exactly.
That's a real thing.
Yeah. So.
Well, and you're so fabulously cut out for the part.
I
so,
also said that.
yes.
That was the third thing. I
Yes,
said, I'm
I mean-
also fabulous, so put me in.
And tell me about you and Ed's friendship.
Yeah, so Ed and I met, I was at university in Cambridge, and they have this really great comedy troupe called Footlights, which I was always too scared to try out for. And then right when I was about to graduate, I thought I might as well. And Ed had come over to direct the final show. So he auditioned me and put me in, and we became friends from that, and then knew each other from the sort of stand-up circuit.
Yeah.
And then, so that was really good, because there's just
Neat.
a natural friendship, and it's easy to play brother and sister, I think.
Oh, you guys
Yeah.
are so cute together.
Thank you.
Yes. And you also performed at the Edinburgh Fringe Festival,
Right,
which we
yeah.
know here in America, a lot of young actors, actually even from LA, take shows over there. And it's quite a
Yeah.
destination for us. So tell me about that
great.
experience.
It's amazing. It is a wonderful place. It's usually, I've done 4, and
wow.
I'd say they're among the best and absolute worst months of my life, because it's so intense. It's a festival for a month. So you take your show up there, and most British comics who do live comedy will work on their show for really a year, and then they take it up, and it's this huge deal, and often they've spent thousands and thousands, and then you get drunk every night, and you don't really sleep, and
Yeah.
there's loads of gossip and drama, and you perform every day, and it goes wrong, and sometimes it goes well, and there's reviewers and awards, and you normally leave kind of broken, but you've had a good time as well. And it's always raining, so your feet are always wet for a month.
Oh, the wet feet.
Yeah,
All of that and wet
that's
feet.
my main experience. But it's really it is also amazing. It's this. Sorry to interrupt you, but it's just like this bed of creative. There's so many shows. There's thousands of shows, and the range is incredible, and you can kind of do anything. And there's been a big shift in the last few years, which I think is very exciting. Actually, since I kind of stopped going, I don't know if that's a coincidence, where there are lots more. People are doing more free shows, and I think that has become less corporate and more creative again. And there's been this really cool shift. And I mean, if you could ever go, you should definitely go to the Fringe.
And it's
great.
wild because as a performer, you might have a show time at like 10 a.m. on a Tuesday, and then another show at midnight on Thursday, or
I mean, you
it's
tend
like
to do
wild...
the same slot every day. So
you do?
You typically
Okay.
do, a month of 2:25 at the top of a pub on, every day at lunchtime.
Did you perform in a pub?
So it really depends. You can do a paid venue or a free venue, and I did both depending on like the stage of my career I was at. But some of them are awful. You could like I've gone to friends' gigs, and they'll be like in a pizza restaurant, but they're just performing in a corner, and everyone else is having their dinner and not really watching, and it's 10 in the morning or something awful, and but it really does build you up and make you stronger. Or someone can rent a room, and they'll be paying loads, and it will be 9 p.m. in this proper theatre, and no one comes anyway, and the range is extraordinary.
Yes.
It does break you down and make you stronger. If you're a comedian, you should be able to make jokes about the room, so you should be able to engage with the fact that you are in a laundrette and like there's 2 members of the audience washing their shoes. I mean, I've never known of a venue like that, but it could be that bad.
It could be that bad.
Yeah.
Yes, I was at the Adelaide Theatre Festival
cool,
in
yeah.
Australia one year. Yes.
Yeah.
And I think we performed we performed on the street. We performed in a circus tent.
Wow. And you're doing improv?
Various. We were doing kind of comic musicals, actually.
Very good.
Yes. With the physical theater comedy company. But I sure know the idea of a lot of things happen. And I think by suffering for your art, you kind of learn wow, this is something I never want to do again.
It really, yeah.
But isn't this great?
It's a funny one. I had this one Edinburgh, and it was just going. It just wasn't what I thought. I don't know. I just wasn't having a good time. And my show, they said they were about to commission it, but they hadn't yet, and I thought it wasn't going to happen. And it was just the midpoint, and I was so exhausted. And my parents came, and everyone had bigged me up and was like, "You're going to have the most amazing year." And it wasn't quite as good as I wanted. And I was just like, "I'm becoming a painter." And my parents were like, well, you've never painted. And I was like, I'm fully leaving this industry. I'm becoming a painter. And I was about to call my agent and say, and you have those lows. Everyone has them. But
yes.
You then fall in love with it that night because you have a good show. And, oh, yeah. As long as you don't leave it and become a painter, then I think you're good.
Yeah. Yes. And you didn't, because now you have a show
and I can't paint,
on
so
BBC
I shouldn't.
America.
Yeah.
Well,
done it.
that is a side note.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just a fact.
Well, I think it's neat for me to know that you come from a real background, but
I have a real background,
but a real background, a live performance background.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I think that most of the people who succeed in comedy, especially with character-driven stuff, have had live performance experience. So now you're here in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
So here we are, and the show is in its second season.
Right.
Your show. So are you? Do we know about a third season yet?
No.
Okay, we don't know. Are we anticipating a third season?
I mean,
okay.
If you know differently, tell me. But yeah.
Well, folks just comment and give feedback on Almost Royal, because it is a fun show. But you found yourself here in Los Angeles, and you're actually here to audition for pilots.
Oh yeah, I mean it's just a kind of general trip.
Yeah.
And I have lots of friends out here and some show ideas to develop and press and
Cool.
I mean last week I just was kind of at the beach for a week, so I can't just say I'm
happens
here for auditions because
Santa Monica?
Venice.
And then
Excellent. I went to Joshua Tree and was just in a desert, and I was again like, this isn't work really.
It's life.
Yeah,
it's okay.
This is life.
It's okay.
This is life.
And it's American culture. It's helping you really take in more observations.
Thank you.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
I'm going to put it on my resume, actually. It was,
Under
I could put it down as a
special
work
skills.
expense.
Oh,
when
yes.
my taxes
The write-offs.
Yeah.
See, you're becoming very LA.
Yeah.
So will you share with me, do you have any general, I want to talk to you a little bit about beauty observations.
Right, okay.
But before we get to that, just even observations about Los Angeles, because I've been here for nearly 20 years.
Okay.
So I'm quite saturated in it. But do you have any interesting cultural observations? Don't be afraid to stereotype.
This is probably my, fifth or sixth trip. I'm kind of lost count. Maybe in the last 2 years, and every time I like it more because I get to I know it more now.
Yeah.
It's the biggest place there is. It's so big, and I think people who haven't been don't really know that. They sort of think it's just like streets with palm trees on them, and they have no idea that it's like 100 different cities in one. And if you have a friend in Venice and you live in Silver Lake, you're probably not going to hang out that much.
Sorry, I'm not going to see you.
Yeah.
You're in Silver Lake.
It's just I was with a friend and her boyfriend at the weekend, and I said, would you go out with her? I shouldn't have asked this question as it turned out. But I was like, would you go out with her if she lived on the east side? And he was just like, no. I think he's joking, but I don't know.
No, it's a thing. So we have a term in LA when you meet somebody out at a nightclub and they live on too far from you.
Yeah.
You say this relationship would be geographically inconvenient.
Oh, is that the phrase? I mean, I've even had that in London, and that's not even the same distance, and we have a public transport system, which is a sore point for me in this city.
So you've got to be a pretty keen observer of pop culture, because you incorporate it a lot, I feel, into the storyline of Almost Royal. So can you give me a little bit of a tidbit, what is happening with the gossip right now in London with the royal family? I mean, do you have anything? I know that is there some sort of story that everyone is kind of following right now, or
Well, I have to, I'm not very good with pop culture, and my character isn't either. So I kind of always like we never really know who anyone is. That's like so it might feature, but we don't know who anyone is. And I'm not great. I don't really read gossip magazines particularly. I never really know who anyone is, and I'm really bad with the royal family. So people will send me links. So they'll say like, oh, you know, Kate's had a baby, and I'm like, she was pregnant, you know, and they're like, this will be good for your show because I don't know, people like the royal family. But I never know. And
I got it.
Actually, I don't really think my friends I didn't even watch the royal wedding. I don't have a TV and just was kind of busy that day. Okay. So you're probably busy doing other things. Ask. You'd probably know.
Do you feel like culturally? Here's just kind of a general culture question, and I'm somewhat the same way. By the way, so every single time I see, for instance, the Kardashians, either on TV or in a news story, I just change it. I change it. Like I just don't take it in. No, I don't want to take that in. So I choose not to take that in. Do you feel like there's a little bit of a comparison in Britain in the culture's obsession with royalty and the way that we look at our like movie stars here in the US? Because we don't have royalty, really.
But I think the Americans are more into the royal family than the British are in general. And I think actually it's our big tourist attraction.
That's startling.
Yeah, it's...
Really?
Yeah, because it's something you grow up with. You don't really think about it. A lot of people in the UK are really obsessed with the royal family. But predominantly, I think they are a great tourist attraction. And Americans particularly like it because it's so alien to...
Yes. It's kind of, I feel like we have a link to it because we feel like we have a link to England. Sort of like there's a little bit of a mother country feel. And also I feel like it's kind of like the obsession America has with Downton Abbey. I mean, obsession. Is it sort of like a link to our past?
Oh, okay. I mean, I thought you guys were sore on that because we were pretty... Yeah,
with the
historically,
whole,
we didn't behave
the whole
brilliantly.
revolution thing that we all had. No, I think we're all good with that at this point.
Are we getting on? Are we cool?
I'm fine with you.
Great,
are you good
thanks.
with me? No, I think the U.S. Britain relations are doing
we
quite
just
well.
made up for everyone. This is huge.
Amazing things can happen here at AfterBuzz TV, Amy.
Mm.
I don't know. I feel like we are. That's really interesting that we might be more fascinated by the royal family.
It's not an accusation. Like, you know, I think a lot of people have said that freely. Actually. And
that's really interesting. And in turn, you are fascinated with. I say you, but I mean England is fascinated with U.S. celebrity.
I think so. Yeah.
Yes.
Just celebrity culture in general. So even just celebrities in the UK. I think there's a big celebrity.
Have you run into a celebrity face to face here in LA? That impressed you?
Yeah, I walked past Matthew McConaughey in his car, and then I was like, but then I thought, Amy, you know, that you're in LA now, like you can't really react like this. But I told my friends that I was with in LA, and they were pretty impressed.
Yes,
that's my only celebrity one, and
because there's that moment like, should I approach him?
I didn't have that. No, I mean, I would have had to just jump in front of a car, and I value my life more than like an autograph or a selfie or whatever. Yeah.
Speaking of selfies, we're gonna. I brought a selfie stick.
Is that I've never seen?
This
one
is something
before.
that is just so quintessentially Los Angeles. I just wanted to share it with you.
They have them in London. I've nearly been hit by them a few times. But I've never looked at one.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah. There's there's always a selfie going on in front of.
I love it. Okay. So you have some friends here now in LA. It sounds like just not in Silver Lake.
No, I'm actually staying around there at the moment.
Oh, you are?
I'm going between like all the areas this trip.
Oh, good.
So
new areas.
Quite fun. Yeah.
What do you enjoy doing with your friends here in Los Angeles?
I really like hiking. I've learned that because I love. In England, we call it walking when you just use your feet, and you don't need to wear sports gear. You can just leave your house without the car. And I was once hanging out with this guy, and he said, "What do you want to do?" And I was like, I want to go for a walk, and I meant like go to
a hike.
And so he met me at, I really hope he doesn't see this. He met me at my hotel on Sunset and just walked me down the length of Sunset Boulevard for like an hour, and then we walked back, and it was awful. And
all those cars.
Yeah, and I should have said hike. I want to be out in nature, like so. That's what I like to do, and the beach, and like I think there's really good food around here. and that's kind of it. Like going for drinks or
You're easy.
yeah.
What's your favorite drink? What's your go-to drink you would order if you and I went out?
Well, what I would do is I would think that I want a cocktail, so I'd spend like 20 minutes reading the menu, but I'd all along know that I just want a glass of wine, and then I'd order it and feel really boring. But
you'd want to like ramp it up with something really interesting.
But I'm going to put a cherry in it, but
Yeah.
I just wouldn't do it. I just have a wine.
Have you had a mojito?
Yeah.
Oh, those are good.
They are. They're
really
also,
good.
I find, because I'm quite small, and they really free pour here. Like in England, if you order it, they measure out like 25 centiliters. And I was actually with some friends in Nashville a couple of years ago, and it was my round, and everyone wanted Long Island iced teas, and I watched them pour. And it freaked me out, so I changed my order to a single drink. And I went back and I said to everyone, I have watched the bartender. He's put in 5 to 10 shots. I've watched, because it's like 5 different spirits. So I was like, drink it, but at your own peril. I'm having a small, and everyone got smashed. So I think I'm not very fun here, because like one drink and I'd be paralyzed. Like I have to be careful.
Do you think Brits drink more than Americans or American?
Oh, actually, I'm not sure. I think it depends where you are. I mean, it's such a big country, so. But there's a huge culture for drinking in the UK, and I think often I find it annoying in London if you go to the pub and you say, "Oh, I'm not drinking tonight," I just don't feel like it. People think you're not fun, whereas like around here,
they do that here too.
Oh, okay, there we go. So we're all awful.
But if you do it here, just say I'm cleansing, and then
I
you'll
would
have
not
like.
say that in London. I would.
I'm doing a cleanse.
I'm detoxing. You can't say that in London.
No, I wouldn't pull that out in London either.
No, I wouldn't have any friends. I mean, probably in like parts of West London, maybe, but here, no, not with my circles. Yeah.
Well, I am thrilled to meet you.
Oh, thank you.
And
Me too.
it's been really fun watching your show.
Great.
Almost Royal.
Yeah.
On BBC America here Monday nights, but also, hey, online.
Just
I
in
logged
general.
right in. And that's the thing nowadays. Like, you have a great YouTube channel, guys. Check out Amy's YouTube channel. She has all kinds of videos and characters going on there. But, you can kind of watch anything anytime.
Right,
So,
yeah, you watch
so it's
differently,
fun.
don't you?
Yes. But best of luck. Is there anyone
Thank
you'd
you.
like to thank before we go?
Just in general?
Yeah, just in general.
Like my mom?
Yeah. What about your mom? What about your mom? What would she say about this interview?
Oh, I don't know. She'd probably just maybe make a slightly passive-aggressive remark about my hair or something.
Oh,
like,
yeah,
is your
well.
hair okay? No, she likes to hear from me. We're very close.
I'm glad.
Really enjoy watching
What would she
it.
say about me?
She'd say you seem really lovely, and she would
thanks,
like your
Mom.
hair, and she would
She
generally
would?
like it, not have a comment with it. You've got quite similar hair, actually.
Oh,
Yeah.
lovely.
I don't really. I guess I always should thank Ed and the production team for the show, because that's why I'm here, and they're all amazing.
Absolutely.
But
yeah.
I'm not really like accepting an award, so it seems a bit weird to say. Yeah, I'd like
Well,
to
if
thank
you have
my team.
the chance to give a shout out, it's just
Yeah,
kind of fun.
okay.
Make people feel included.
Thanks to everyone who's
Yes.
ever helped me, and yeah.
And if you would like to talk to Amy, people can reach you on Twitter, correct?
Right, yeah,
Yes.
reach away.
At Amy_Hoggart, right?
Yes, yeah.
Yes. 2 G's.
2 G's ART. Like the Harry Potter school, but not quite.
Hoggarts.
Yeah, people always say like Hogwarts here, but they only say it in America.
Hoggarts?
Yeah, they say,
Hoggarts?
oh, like Hogwarts.
Hogwarts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a similar word.
Yes, it is. Lovely. Well, thank you so much for joining us for this very special Spotlight on. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up for this interview, and please post your comments. Amy would love to hear from you. I would love to hear from you. Amy, you want to take us out?
Goodbye, everyone. Thanks for watching. Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.